Okay, so now we're ready for these multi-step problems. Once again, I'm actually going to give you the opportunity to do these problems on your own, but for right now, ideally, you're actually going to be writing these notes with me, and we're just going to be doing them together. So, once again, these do actually get a little bit more complex, but hopefully they won't be complicated because I'm going to be explaining them to you as efficiently and as clearly as possible. So let's get into the first one, and I think that the first one over here is actually probably like the nicest, being that we are going from days to minutes, and these are like units that you're probably comfortable with. Okay, so let's get into this. So we have 3 days, and once again, we're going to be converting our units, so we already know that, hey, you know what, we are going to be canceling out our units, so we have days on the top, and we have days on the bottom over here, and so we're just going to be, even though these problems are multi-step, we're just going to be using the same exact principles as we were using before. So let's keep in mind that we're going from days to minutes. Let's look at these over here. Obviously, we don't want to use any of these because these are dealing with length and not time. And down here, we actually do have our units of that dealing with time. So, oh, you know what? I'm actually just noticing right now that I'm missing the idea that there are 365.25 days is equal to 1 year. I'm sorry about that. But either way, though, we do see that we have days over here and we have days over here. So which one of these actually does it make more sense to go to? Considering the idea that we're going from days to minutes, does it make sense for us to go from days to years? Or does it make sense for us to go from days to hours? And let's think about this. So obviously these, if we go to hours, we're getting smaller and getting closer to minutes, rather than years, which is actually getting bigger and farther away from minutes. So let's just, I guess, trust me on this, and we're going to get closer to our minutes by going to hours. So how many days is it? Oh, it's just the 1 day. And I know I have plural over here, but whatever, that doesn't really matter. Is equal to what? Oh, that's equal to 24. Ooh. Ugh. 24 hours. Okay, so once again, our units do cancel out. So our days will cancel out, leaving us with hours, but we don't want hours. We want minutes. So this is where the multi-step actually comes in. What we're going to do here is actually multiply this by another conversion unit. So we have hours and we want to get to minutes. So which one of these actually does have to do with both hours and minutes, or that'll actually get us closer to minutes? So we have here, oh, we have hours right here, and we have hours right here. So these two both have to do with hours, but we already used this one over here, and it wouldn't really make sense for us to actually use that again, because we would go from hours to days. That really doesn't make much sense. So we do have hours and minutes over here, and our goal is to actually get to number of minutes, so it does make sense that we would use that. Once again, we do want our units to cancel out, so we have hours up here on the top in our numerator. So therefore, we want hours in the bottom, in our denominator, for them to be able to cancel out. So, how many hours is it? Oh, it's 1 hour is equal to what? It's equal to 60 minutes. Ugh. Okay. So, our hours cancel out, leaving us with minutes. Oh, wait a minute, look at this. We want minutes over here, and we have minutes over here. That's, once again, our indicator to us, the idea that we're actually done with this problem. So we plug this into the calculator and we get our answer. So we just multiply our numerators. Once again, that would actually just be our 3 times 24 times 60. Those are all the numerators. Divide that by all of our denominators, which is 1 times 1 times 1. And once we plug this in the calculator, we'll get the answer of 4,320. And the units that we have is minutes. Okay, so just basically saying that 3 days is equal to 4,320 minutes. And that's the way that we do that problem. Okay, so let's go into the next one. You know what? Let's go into problem number 7. So we have 10.5 miles to number of kilometers, or kilometers, however you want to pronounce it. So we have 10.5 miles. Once again, miles is just mi and not m. So we're not going to be confusing M with MI. All right, so we have our miles on the top. So therefore, right off the bat, we already know, because we're doing the cancellation, now we want the miles in the bottom. And where do we actually have our miles? Oh, once again, we actually do have it over here. And that's the only spot where we actually do have our miles. So it's 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. And we're basically, being that that's the only one that has to do with miles, we're stuck with actually using this factor over here. So that's what we're going to use. Once again, our units do cancel out, and we're left with feet. The only thing is, though, is that we don't want feet. We want our kilometers. So we're going to have to do another conversion factor. And we're just going to draw our fraction line. We're going to have our feet down here. And what makes the most sense now? So we have feet over here. We have feet. We have feet. This one doesn't make sense to use, being that we just used that one. So we could cross that one out already. And we have feet over here. Those are the only ones that have to do with feet. Let's keep in mind, once again, we want to get to kilometers. Does it make sense for us to go from feet to inches, feet to yards, or feet to meters? Once again, we want to get to kilometers. So hopefully you're saying to yourself, well, maybe it makes sense for us to go from feet to meters and use this one over here. And that's what we'll do. So we have how many feet? Oh, it's 3.28 feet is equal to what? 1 meter. Once again, our feet will cancel out. Oh, whoops. Once again, our feet will cancel out, leaving us with meters. The only thing is, though, is that we don't want meters. We want kilometers. So that's our indicator to us that we are still not done with this problem. So what do? We do another conversion factor. What do we have on the bottom over here? Meters, because we know that the two of them will cancel each other out. We're going to come back over here and look for meters. Where do we have meters? Once again, MI is miles, so that's not what we're dealing with. We have meters over here, but we just used this conversion factor, so it doesn't make sense for us to be using it. Let's continue down. Oh, look at this. We have meters over here, we have meters over here, and we have meters over here. So, consider that we want to get to kilometers. Which one of these does it make sense that we use? Hopefully you're saying to yourself, let's use the first one. We have meters over here, kilometers over here. That makes sense to me. So how many meters is it? Oh, it's 1,000 meters is equal to what? It's equal to 1 kilometer. Our units cancel out, leaving us with kilometers on the top over here, and we have kilometers on the top over here. That's what we're trying to actually get to, if that's our goal. So therefore, we know that we're done with this problem. Okay, this is going to get a little bit more complicated, toss in the calculator, but we've been practicing this, so I think that you're going to be able to do this. So we have in our calculator, we type it in just like this, our open parentheses, and we have our 10.5, just multiplying our numerators, times 5,280, times 1 times 1. Hey, you know what? That's not going to change the value, so we really don't need to be plugging that into the calculator. Divide that by 1 times 1 times 3.28 times 1,000. And when we plug this in, we will get 16.9. And wait a minute, let's look at this. What are the units that we have? Well, on the top, we don't have meters anymore. Miles anymore. We don't have feet anymore. We don't have that. We don't have this in the bottom. We don't have that in the bottom. We don't have this. The only units that we do have remaining are the kilometers, which is in the numerator. So therefore, we know it's 16.9 kilometers. And that's done with that one. So I'm going to invite you to try out problems 6 and 8. Pause the video right now, try those out, and hopefully you get the answer. Okay, so now we're going to get back into this. Let's, if you didn't pause the video yet to try this out, once again, I highly encourage that. That's only going to be the way that you get better. You're not going to get better at this by watching me do this and actually doing this together. You're just going to get better at this by doing this on your own. So once again, if you haven't paused the video, I highly suggest that you do that. And assuming that you did, let's get into it. Okay, so for problem number 6, we have 19 yards. And we're going to get to number of meters. So once again, right off the bat, I do know that the yards will actually be the first thing that we cancel out. So looking over here, we do see that we have yards over here. And we have, that's the only spot where we do have yards. So let's just go from there. So we have 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. Our yards cancel out, but we're not happy with the feet. We want to get to meters. So let's actually just do another conversion factor. looking through here, we have feet here, we have feet here. Oh, well, we just used that one, so that doesn't really count. We're not going to be concerned about that one. We have feet over here, feet over here. Once again, we have feet in miles and feet in meters over here. Considering the idea that we're going to get to our meters, hopefully you're saying to yourself that we're going to be using this conversion factor. So we have feet on the top, so therefore we want feet in the bottom. In the denominator, how many feet is it? It's 3.28 feet is equal to what? It's equal to 1 meter. And hopefully by now you're saying to yourself, hey, we want meters, and we have meters over here, our indicator to us that we're done with this problem. And I'm sorry, we're supposed to cancel these out. Okay, so we just plug this into the calculator. We do our 9 times 3 and then divide that by our 3.28 and we get our answer of 17.4. And the only units that we do have remaining here are our meters. So that's going to be the answer there. And once again, this is actually just saying the idea that 19 yards is equal to 17.4 meters. I do at this point want to stress again the idea that we are not changing the value of the 19 yards. We're not changing any of these values. We're simply converting the units. Okay, so and this bottom problem over here, let's get our 15 kilometers to number of miles. Okay, so we have our 15 kilometers over there. We're going to put kilometers down over here, being that we're going to have our cancellation going on. And which one of these facts has to do with kilometers? Hopefully by now you're saying to yourself, let's look over here. We have kilometers over there, and that's the only one that we have. It's going to take us from kilometers to meters, not kilometers to miles. So we do know that there's going to be a multiple step in here. So how many kilometers is it? It's 1 kilometer. And that's equal to what? 1,000 meters. Our units will cancel out, once again leaving us with meters when we do want our units to be miles, so we know that we're not done here. And we're just going to have to do another conversion unit, leaving us with meters on the bottom over here. Now, coming through here, let's look at this. We have meters over here, we have meters, meters, meters. Once again, we're not going to be using this one because we just used that. Does it make sense for us? Now, this is where you really have to think about this. If we want to go from meters to miles, do we want to go from meters to centimeters, meters to millimeters, or meters to feet? This is a little tricky, but hopefully you're saying to yourself, it makes sense to go from meters to feet because miles is the standard unit. It's the United States unit. So if we want to go to the US units, we actually do have here, this is metric and this is our US unit. This is like a nice little bridge that actually takes us into the US units. So hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, I apologize. And hopefully in the upcoming examples, I'll actually clarify that a little bit more. Anyway, let's get into this though. So we have how many meters? It's 1 meter is equal to what? The 3.28 feet. Okay, so our units will cancel out and leaving us with feet, but we don't want feet, we want miles. So we know that we're actually not done with this. I know that this is a long problem, but once again, I don't think that's complicated, it's just a little complex. Okay, so we have feet down on the bottom over here. Now we want to go from feet to miles. And the only, we're going to be just looking at our facts that have to do with feet. So we have feet over here, feet over there, feet and feet. We just use this one so it doesn't make sense. And those are the only ones. And hopefully you're saying to yourself, okay, you know what? We have feet and miles over here. Our goal is to get to miles. So it does make sense that we'd be using this fact over here. How many feet do we have? We have 5,280 feet is equal to what? Is equal to 1 mile. Our feet cancels out, leaving us with miles. Oh, wait a minute. Our goal is to actually get miles, and we have miles on the top over here, indicating to us that we're done with this problem. We just need to plug it in the calculator, and we're good. All right, so just plug in this calculator. You have 5 times 1,000 times 3.28. Take that, divide by 5,280, using the same methods that we used before, and we'll get the idea that it's equal to 3.1 miles. And essentially, once again, this is just saying that the 5 kilometers is equal to 3.1 miles. For anyone who actually runs track or has ever ran a 5K before, Maybe you're saying to yourself, oh, wait a minute, that's what that's about. 5K, a 5K race is equal to 3.1 miles.